Hello everyone and welcome to D2C Dialogues. Today we have Deepanshu Manchanda, founder and CEO ZappFresh. ZappFresh, a fresh meat brand of DSM Fresh Foods Private Limited, is located in Gurgaon and currently delivering the freshest meat in NCR region. ZappFresh was started in June 2015 by Deepanshu Manchanda and Shruti Gochwal, who distinguished an enormous business opportunity in offering prime quality meat products that were initially overpowered by the unhygienic and problematic local wet market, which has been later taken over by frozen meat choices, which is not preferred workaround for Indian consumers. We have a deep reverence for the people, businesses, and products that make up our industry. It has inspired us to create a new way of doing business founded on the idea that by creating meaningful relationships with our customers and farmers, we can improve the quality of life for everyone. Not only that, but ZappFresh is a full stack business where our meat delivery process starts from procuring the fresh produce to processing, storage, and delivery. Welcome to D2C Dialogues, Deepanshu.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hitesh. It's a pleasure to be here.
Deepanshu, let me start with you and then we'll come to ZappFresh. Could you tell us about your journey, from being an executive at an FMCG company to becoming a CEO of ZappFresh?
Yeah, so I mean, I come from humble beginnings, middle class background. Father has a small shop. And, I always had dreams as anybody else, who wants to do good in life. But what I did different was, stubbornly and, working towards a common vision of, doing something of my own in the long term. So fortunately, I think I've been, somehow blessed with a certain level of clarity that I want to do something of my own in the long run. I didn't know what I would do. So as any other, individual who is always confused about career choices, I was also the same. But I was very fascinated by food, media, education. Some of these sectors are very, very exciting to me. And so I was trying my best to, to get a job in any of these sectors and start my career after I complete my MBA, BBA, and look for right opportunities, which will probably give me a stepping stone for starting something of my own. Again, I'm talking 2007, around that time when ecosystem in the startup space was not there. So we were all, most of us as either traditional business or we were all doing jobs. These were the two formats. And but unknowingly, I was still very, very, motivated to do something of my own. I think that drive led to where I am today. And there has not been a, very straight line or a, sort of a straight formula to be where I am. It's just, I think your will to succeed in any project, especially which you are committed to, will probably help you get where you want to go. With me, when I passed out, I was, as I stated, I was very, very focused on learning, taking my jobs more as learning opportunities rather than making money opportunities, because I always thought of jobs as stepping stones. And in fact, not jobs, any work you do will create a larger outcome in the future for you. It should, and it will only if the learning is appropriate. You are, able to put your head and your efforts in the way where it will drive certain results, which will give you a certain, insight about business, people. So a very observationally learning aptitude kind of an approach is what I've followed across all my, projects. And that being the first project as an intern was with, PepsiCo, where I was supposed to sell, kurkures, and it was a 2-month, 3-month project, which I succeeded. I was able to sell the maximum kurkures in corporates. Very, very tough, job, and hats off to FMCG, industry. And I think that was the time when my inclination towards food as a category developed. However, then I started working with, with American Express after that internship, but somehow I was always, interested in doing something in either snacking or food and all that. So that was one piece. The other piece of learning, I think, was during the 2007 crash. That also taught me that, food as a sector, education, healthcare, these are, evergreen sectors, and they're not going to, fizzle out any time ever. That consumption market is further going to go, further grow. So whatever I can do in these sectors, it will be worthwhile for my long-term career. And that's how I chose either food or education. I had certain stints in education. I started a small education consulting company also, which I had to, shut down within a year, and then started a project in food as well. So I've done multiple things. I think there is no one particular project which I can say was responsible for my entire learning process. I think bit by bit, I was trying to learn everything I could, basically. And idea was that working with small setups, smaller companies where you get more learning was actually gold. And you can't really put any salary as a price to it. I was even willing to work for free because I was very keen on doing something of my own in the long term. I did not know how will that happen, how will that conspire, but a constant hit and trial, giving my best. That's about it. Hustle, pure hustle, and ZappFresh happened like that.
Two great insights that has come up from you personally. One is, any work that you do, money is just an outcome, but that work should add value to you, and it has to add learning in your growth. And if you learn, you grow, and likewise. And the second part, you spoke about the categories, the three areas, rather than categories, the three areas or the industries: education, pharma, healthcare, and the food part, which is, even during recession, people will require education, food, and healthcare. So these are the two great insights, that we have got from you, today, Deepanshu. And now, after this, you used the word trial and error, and you were ready to work for free. What was the original inspiration that led you to, create ZappFresh? How did it happen, and why ZappFresh, and why this category?
See, again, as I stated, that learning during that financial crash of 2007, taught me that these are the, evergreen sectors. So first of all, whatever I will do, in these sectors only. I'm not going to create a rocket. Okay. I'm not going to, sell clothing, garments, all of that. So some broad understanding, or some broad inclination, I think if you have towards an industry, helps you narrow down a certain direction for your career. That's, I think, is very, very critical. And my understanding on these, cat industries primarily happened through the crash. And in fact, you must have noticed, it is the similar thing which happened in the COVID lockdown. And because of that learning, our business went skyrocketed, during that period. And people were like, oh, look at these lucky sectors. They're not lucky sectors. They're not going anywhere. Anybody who has looked at it closely would know that, this is a proper planned, exercise which they do, and they know that this is going to further go, and grow further and develop further. So my, understanding on these sectors was very, very clear, that these sectors are going to be a boon for the Indian economy further. And I still say that there is immense amount of potential in these three sectors. It's ever growing. It's not going to see recession ever in life. So from that perspective, this was clear that I would do anything in these areas. And the second point was that I need to look at something which is big enough as a problem, which I found meat as a category to be. And before that, as I told you, I've done a couple of projects in education and even in food. But those problems were not, big enough or high impact problems. And hence, they were not able to get that kind of traction which I was expecting. So because those, options didn't work, I developed an idea muscle, okay, in terms of how to really spot an idea, industry, project. And then once you identify it, you have the conviction, you've done your research, you've got certain clarity on, how the industry and the idea is going to be, then you go all out for it. That's how I stumbled onto ZappFresh as a meat category to be very, very, problemsome, and also to be complex and a pure blue ocean, where there is nobody who is actually looking at the sector. And that, is a problem and an opportunity both. And when I got to, get these certain cues about the sector, I was convinced and went all out in 2014-15 and started working on the prototypes. And then as soon as we started working on the product market fit, getting response from customers were also boosted. Investment ecosystem was also developing, startup ecosystem was also developing. So keeping that in mind, things started, clicking, I would say. And one by one, we were able to grow and move to the next level as a business.
Initially, when you said you zeroed down on this category, can you explain some of the pivotal moments? Because okay, category is fine. You did your market analysis. You used the word challenges and the opportunities. Both were equally big, and blue ocean is what the words that you have used for it. How did you go about it? Because one thing is, okay, today you have frozen the category that this is where I want to work on, but it's a very, very challenging one and very unorganized. So you literally had to start from scratch, and there was no precedent for you to follow. And it was 2014 or it was pretty new at that time. The startup ecosystem was there, but it was just at its nascent stage. So, in this environment, how did you manage and how did you, create the business? And then we'll come to the growth and the scaling part. But initial years, if you can succinctly tell us, Deepanshu, what were those pivotal moments and the decisions that you had to make to shape ZappFresh's growth?
So see, there were many pivotal, moments. I can't think of any one specific moment which I can say that this is the moment. I think it's a day by day journey. Okay, each day there are different, successes and fails which you go through, and then eventually the overall experience leads to a certain outcome. But what we were very, very clear that we knew that this is a very, very unorganized, highly monopolistic market, and only spending more time in the sector will make us look like a serious player, because any new emergent player in food focusing on quality, people may not trust, and is credibility is a very important piece when it comes to buying fresh meat for customers. So once we started delivering that customer experience, people buying regularly, coming back to us, I think that's when we were getting, those were the small pivotal moments for us, which were making us, convinced further that, okay, people appreciate quality, people can pay a certain price. This has momentum. That's one part of it. The other part is, the investor interest, which used to come to us, where they used to, look at, the confidence, the conviction, and the growth the sector and the project is achieving. That also helped us in, coming to where we are today.
So can you, succinctly tell us what is ZappFresh? And then we will, delve into the supply chain part of it, the technology part of it, the marketing part of it. But for a layman, what exactly, how would you define ZappFresh?
So we are basically an online meat brand where you can go and buy fresh meat. It includes raw chicken, raw mutton, raw fish, and seafood, and of course, ready to eat and ready to cook foods. We have looked at organizing this entire product line from farm to fork. So we work directly with the farmers to get the freshest of the produce directly at the home to the customer. So that's how we are operating, and all the entire supply chain and the delivery is completely very highly quality conscious process, which includes temperature control, validating the source of the meat, antibiotic checks. All of those multiple quality factors are kept in mind before the product comes to the customer at home. So we provide access to all these fresh meat and also provide a standardized quality and price.
Since you mentioned it's an online brand, and obviously the marketing also has to be online, can you take us uh, through the various stages of marketing? Because at the initial product launch stage, obviously the brand awareness was not there. And number one. Number two, you had to compete with the current, the local, players, unorganized player who are not online. And getting the trust of the consumer was one of the biggest challenges. How did you overcome all this, Deepanshu?
See, it was not an overnight thing. As I stated, that it's very complex supply chain. Dealing with local, farmers, finding the right farmers. It took us at least 2 to 3 years to stand on our own feet and say that, okay, there is a certain level of progress which we are seeing in customer adoption. So it was not like that, within 6 months or an year, we were able to get momentum. But again, as I stated, that these were small wins which we were celebrating, and those wins were catapulting into a larger effort, becoming an outcome of a further more customers coming back again and again. The main critical point here in our business is efficient supply chain, which is where most of our time energy has gone. And to fix and to be able to procure, process, and pack the right product for the customer. So I think that itself was a journey where we ourselves understood various, nuances of what goes in the chicken, the live chicken, and the goat as an animal, fish and seafood, entire, SOPs, processes. A lot of subject matter expertise was developed, in the first 2 3 years. That led to further, execution of what our learning has been into specific outreach with the customers. What do we talk about in marketing? How do we make the customer aware about certain things which they don't know today, okay, as a customer. So I think awareness, a lot of promotion, making customer buy back from you, offers around that was the primary thing for us which we did.
Freshness is the core to all your products, all the products that you mentioned. And how do you maintain that freshness, without using preservatives?
Yeah, so basically freshness is a form of cold chain. If your cold chain is maintained throughout the value circle, then freshness is easily managed. We see with local meat stores that being a big problem, where the customer doesn't know if he's eating a old chicken or a fresh chicken. So in our scenario, all our produce is every day cut and delivered within 24 hours. And with that, how do we achieve that? Now there are different layers to it. It's not a very straightforward, simple answer to that, because there are different departments who are responsible for this, right from quality, procurement, processing, packaging. So all these departments work hand in hand to deliver a better product for the customer. And freshness is the core, as you rightly mentioned. To maintain that, each piece, is following an SOP, which is designed by, food quality experts. And once they follow that, then only we are able to achieve a certain freshness in the product.
Once the product is ready, you said you are selling it online.
Yeah.
Do you sell it offline also, Deepanshu?
No, as of now, we don't. It's all online.
So 100% business is online.
Yes.
And where all do you deliver across the?
Currently, we are in NCR, so we are delivering across NCR.
Okay. Now, in the last couple of years, we have got competitors like Licious, Fresh to Home, Hibachi, Fish Chain, so on and so forth. The market is getting saturated or crowded in this space. How will you differentiate yourself, in this scenario?
Basically, we are focusing. We are not really thinking about what the competition is doing too much, because as I said that, it's a big market. There are many consumers who are looking for value for money, quality. So every customer has their own parameters when they choose to buy from A, B, C. So fortunately for us, we are able to attract customers who are looking for value-based, product line, which is priced right. Is the format which we use. Some of the other competitors generally focus upon, building experience, their customer experience in different way. However, our strategy is that, we need to give them the best price. Best price means that, whatever is the, is a viable price to pay with a certain quality, which is expected by a certain target audience. So that we have cracked. And I think keeping ourselves focused on that price point is mainly our differentiator as compared to other players.
You said you are not offline. That means no tie-ups currently with supermarkets, hypermarkets, etc. But definitely you have done tie-ups with Big Basket, Coldex, etc., which is an online player. So
those are all online partnerships only. See, those Coldex, etc., all of that was our cold chain partners. So they were not our distributors and all. So we do have vendors, we do have partners, but our distribution is primarily online, is what I mean to say.
Sure. So are you planning to forge new partnerships in the coming days and
of course,
the near future?
All the time, we love partnerships.
Yeah. Okay. Now you said predominantly Delhi, NCR, that's the place where you are, geographically present.
Yeah.
What are your plans, going ahead from a geographical perspective?
So we are currently going to be launching Bangalore very soon, within a couple of months. So South market is where we will be headed. And then once we are stabilized there, then we will open other markets. South itself is a big market. Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, these are the top markets which we will be getting into.
What would be your strategy to localize, your services in these cities?
So, localization, generally we look at working with local partners where we can understand the nuances of, customer behavior. And of course, these markets are also to an extent mature enough where there is a customer behavior already being seen. So we do our own due diligence in understanding that, which player is actually doing what, how are they able to attract the kind of customer segment which is coming to them. So we do proper R&D. That R&D is a function of basically a market entry research is what we call. And with that, we do various benchmarkings, pricing, benchmarking, quality benchmarks, local stores. So entire universe of meat demand supply chain gets analyzed. We spent about 2 to 3 months in learning about the market, and then we focus on starting it.
You spoke about the customers, and doing all this analysis. Who typically is a customer of ZappFresh? Who is your TG?
So our TG is somebody who is, a young couple who is professional couple, looking at a annual income of about 25 lakhs, 20 to 25 lakhs. So that is our customer.
Okay. And your products, you geographically you did mention about it, but what do you see the current state? How has the customer adopted? How is the adoption? I'm talking from an industry perspective in this category. How has the customer adopted online products, especially the category that you are in?
So we've seen actually a great increase after COVID, because after COVID, since all the offline stores were shut, so online was the only way. So D2C as an online picked up a lot, I think, around that time. And that resulted into a sustained activity where customer has formed habit of buying online, which is resulting into a continuous behavior. And that's how I think we have seen it come out of age.
So this is applicable across the country, especially in this category. You see that going ahead, because the customers are habitual and they have got into the habit of buying online. I think, do you think that this is going to be a growing space?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Because the disposable income is increasing, customers overall are looking for better products. Brand loyalty is very little these days with youngsters, so they want to try different things. So I think definitely the entire market is in front of us to be captured. And growing, income levels are one of the main triggers for getting better products. So that's how we will be able to get to that stage of acquiring more customers who are quality conscious.
You spoke about these opportunities, but what would be your major challenges, Deepanshu, in this space?
See, I mean, we have, as any business, there are various challenges. And our major challenge would be, I think, supply chain. As I told, right from day one, we constantly, on our toes when it comes to supply chain, as just like milk, bread. If you see, these are perishable products, so you have to be very, very efficient and very cautious in terms of handling products, especially which has potential to have health hazards to the customers. So food quality supply chain is our major focus area.
How does ZappFresh leverage technology to enhance the B2C experience for the customer?
So we have entirely built in-house. Everything is our own, developed, managed, maintained. And for customers, we've kept it very simple. We've not complicated it, as compared to some of the competition where they try to do many things. We don't do that. We try to focus on 5 to 6 things which the customer wants, and that's about it. That's our way. We don't want to oversell it through technology.
You have been, you have got investments from entities like SIDBI, Amit Burman, etc. Until date, you have raised close to $9 million. Can you shed some light on the funding plans for ZappFresh in the coming years?
So we have kept raising in regular intervals, and for the last 2 3 years, we've been focusing on profitability and not on raising a lot of capital, because we were very sure that these ups and downs in the markets will keep coming. But as a business, if it is well maintained and well managed, then it's a long-term business. So we are not dependent on any funding, but we are self-sustainable, we are profitable, and going forward also we will remain in the same status quo. Investment wise, we do look at various options, discussions, keep doing it, but it's not something which we are consuming ourselves with. Our obsession is to do business, and for that, it's a profitable business. There are healthy margins in the category, so you can create a self-sustainable business, and that's what we focus upon.
Going ahead, 5 years down the line, where do you see ZappFresh in terms of products, services, new business models, expansions, etc.?
Yeah, so we'll be, I think, in at least 6 to 7 cities in 5 years, and those will be tier 1 cities, and maybe another 5 tier 2 cities. So about 10 to 12 cities is what we see ourselves in, and doing a business of approximately 800 to 900 crores is what we are looking at, and we would be available online, offline, everywhere.
Okay, here comes offline. Deepanshu?
Of course, retail, as I said, that is very, very important overall as a sector. Online, offline, everything is going to be a play for us. It's just that since we are building a profitable enterprise, we are very cautious in our strategy and how we want to do it.
Last question is, what would be your advice to budding entrepreneurs in this D2C category?
Obsession on quality and customer excellence, I think will really cut it for anybody. Other than whatever I have said, that you have to look at a large market, you have to look at certain other. From an idea perspective, I think if you are sure about that idea, you have that conviction going forward. Just be obsessed with customer loyalty and customer experience, because that's your main investor. So if he's not happy, then no investors are going to be happy.
So if you want to be successful, be obsessed with your customer.
Yes. You have to keep all your egos and all your other things, distractions on one side, and treat customer as your bank, your investor who's giving you money. And that is how you need to be constantly making him happy. Delivering delight to the customer will gradually lead you towards success.
Thank you, Deepanshu. Now the last round is the rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you 6-7 questions.
Sure.
And I know these googlies will throw out of the stadium, but still I'll ask them.
Sure.
What is your favorite feature about ZappFresh?
I love the name.
You love the name?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the most memorable customer feedback you have received?
I think consistency, where the customer is buying for years and they're happy. That's it.
If you could collaborate with any celebrity for endorsement, who would it be?
Probably Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
What is the most challenging aspect of running a fast-paced D2C brand like ZappFresh?
Capital.
If you had to describe ZappFresh brand personality in 3 words, what would it be?
Smart, witty, honest.
Smart, witty, honest. If you could give one superpower to your product, what would it be?
To swim against the tides.
And name one brand you see as your closest competitor.
Tyson Foods, maybe globally.
What is the word synonymous with ZappFresh?
Trust.
Trust. Thank you, Deepanshu Manchanda, founder and CEO of ZappFresh, for sharing all these wonderful insights with us. We look forward to interact with you in the near future also, and all the best for your ambitious target for touching 800 to 1,000 crores in the coming years. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Tesh.